Hey there, my friends. Stan Gray here with TRQ, The Right Questions. It's going to be another quick one, I hope. We'll see. There's something that's been bothering me about the Christian worldview and the Bible itself, really, and all the stories that it has. It really made me wonder, has anything God has ever set out to do succeeded? In other words, with all of his power and all of his foresight and foreknowledge and omnipresence and being everywhere at every moment, what has he done that has not been a failure? According to the Bible itself, God created the angels. A third of them rebelled. Terrible numbers. 66% of the angels turned out okay. 33% failure rate as far as how good these angels were. Humanity, he creates humans. The first two humans fail the first test they ever encounter. The one simple rule. He created them. They failed it. So, most people probably say that Adam and Eve are at fault for that sin, but doesn't their creator deserve some sort of responsibility? If you created two machines and those two machines both failed and you knew they were going to fail, you created them and put them out there on the market and they both fail exactly the way you knew they would, how is that not your fault? Failure number 2. Earth was created, this beautiful sanctuary for humanity, even though he knew that a couple weeks later he was going to curse that too. It did nothing wrong, but it's cursed because of what humanity did, allegedly. God sent the flood to wipe out this evil, wicked scourge of humanity that also he created. But a couple years later, we had Sodom and Gomorrah and people having relations with their own fathers and angels being SA'd, and people offering their daughters to stop angels from being SA'd. That was a failure. The flood did not solve anything. It didn't help anything. It barely postponed anything bad happening amongst humanity. Then we have another example, the Tower of Babel. They were building some little dinky structure trying to reach the heavens. God didn't like that, so he confused the languages. But fast forward today, does it matter that people have different languages? Not really. That punishment ended up having no effect on humanity. So we have this thing called Duolingo now, which allows us to defeat the curse that God put on us to have different languages all those years ago. I speak 4 languages myself. 4 if I'm being generous. And people have collaborated and communicated across language barriers and coordinated to build structures that reach the clouds. We've gone and traveled to space, to the moon, sending vehicles to other planets. So whatever God was trying to do, prevent us from thinking too high and being too big for our britches and confounding the languages, that didn't work. That was a failure. God spent so much energy and killed so many people and sent so many famines and plagues to get people to acknowledge and worship him, and yet still not everyone does. Even Jesus coming down and defeating sin, but people still sin, and statistically, most people will still end up in hell at the end of the day, or at the end of time, I should say. So I'm just wondering, what did God actually, big picture, succeed in so far? And don't tell me that at the end of time, after Revelations and all that stuff, and the monsters come out of the sky, and the handful of human beings that manage to figure out the right combination of beliefs end up in heaven with God, then his whole master plan will have succeeded with, probably 80% of humankind suffering in hell for eternity, almost half all angels suffering in hell for eternity, and Earth being reformed into some new diamond-encrusted golden structure. Is that going to be the one success that God eventually has? It's really baffling to me for someone to look at the track record of this God of the Bible and consider it to be, the most powerful, brilliant system or sequence of events in literal history, because it's just really a list of a litany of failed attempts at recognition and getting what he wants. It's really bizarre. So I guess the question I would ask you, and what I would like you to put down in the comments if you're even listening to this video, is can you please name me some things that God actually tried to do and succeeded, like significant things, big things, things on the level of, okay, he created X and it succeeded and went exactly the way that he thought it was going to go, or that he wanted it to go. I can't think of anything. I'm not talking about little skirmishes in the desert and sending angels to kill armies and help people knock down walls. Not stuff like that. I'm talking about big stuff. Situations that God meant to act on a global scale that succeeded and went the way that he wanted them to go, the way that he planned for them to go. I can't think of anything. I mean, if you could help me out, I would appreciate it. And until next time, my friends, I'll talk to you later. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And remember, if you want the truth, you've got to ask the right questions. I'm Stan Gray. I'll see you later.